an Anglophone country. Anglophone meaning English speaking. It is so funny to me till date that you see people in Ghana, they cannot articulate themselves, even in Accra, the capital of Ghana, they cannot articulate themselves in one English sentence. They can't speak any English, like one single English, they can't speak. All they know how to speak is true.
Oh dear Lord, it's so funny. It's really so funny. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think majority of Nigerians making contents in several platforms online just do it to gain attention or to call for engagement. So they practically know what they say are lies. They are very much confident that what they say are lies, but they just want to raise controversies. I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I can actually prove that this is the intent of most Nigerians, because for someone to really open her mouth to say that Ghanaians don't know how to speak English, and the funny thing is that while saying such, she condescended to speaking pidgin English. She resorted to speaking substandard English, which is pidgin English. Obviously, you know that pidgin English is a ghetto language, or a substandard English, or a criminal language. A criminal language. Of course, I would make a different video to dissect that properly. Now, I don't really understand why Nigerians think the way they think. But when I remember that my eyes had embraced a findings that reveals that 3 out of 4 Nigerians are mentally deformed, it really shocks me. In fact, I really get surprised at myself for being surprised, and I'll be like, don't you know this guy? Don't you? These are things that you already know. Do you understand? So, but here's something I want to tell Nigeria. I want to tell this girl is like, owing to her mental deformity, clearly, owing to the fact that she is mentally a reject, she really is shooting herself multiple times. She's really contradicting herself, and contradiction is an evidence for criminality. It is a verbal evidence for criminality. It's a verbal evidence to display, to show that one has a vast and deep criminal tendencies. Do you understand? Because it's very clear she doesn't think right. Ghanaians are the standard of English. See, out of countries, African countries that have been colonized, let me say West African countries that have been colonized by the British, Ghanaians are top when it comes to speaking English. You see, Ghanaian English, let me tell you, an uneducated Ghanaian speaks better English than an educated Nigerian. I said it. Check it out.
So I believe it's as a result of individuals like these, citizens of Nigerians, I suppose, as these, has really made the Ministry of Education or the Minister of Education under Ghana Education to come up with this recent, innovation idea of what? Making sure that Ghana language is being taught in all schools in Ghana. You see, this whole recent development has sparked up a lot of reactions, speculation, anxiety, and all whatnot in the country Ghana. But why I really want to, address this or give my take and opinion about this is because I'm a Nigerian, and Nigeria is in West Africa, and we as West Africans are in Africa. And as a lover of custom tradition, I really think it's high time we begin to address and put some things together. But before we delve into the videos of today, I just want to quickly, first of all, appreciate what my brother Chimdi has really countered this. But in addition to what he has said, I want to ask, is English our mother tongue? Is English supposed to be generally accepted in Africa? While you are answering that, leave your comments. Let's take a look at this video, and I will come back and talk more about this.
I'm directing the Director General of the Ghana Education Service and the GES that from today, teacher use of mother tongue instruction is now compulsory in all Ghanaian schools.
Breaking news on this, Menoka say, Haruna Druso, and John Mahama, Momo Sabo, Omo Obiamon Sem. Yamu and Sama Bosukina, Bolly idiot me, Gonja Mafia, Wayat ye. Unimidiasi, Menoka say, Haruna Druso, the two a teacher 4 year school from Penny for you say from the basic school on teacher new be making sure say Obechra de ewo akodabia mother tongue. Interesting. Well, every region. Okay, ever possible, and yet possible. I had a reason so. Yes, Shasi. Haruna Druso and they were education minister. And I was here teachers union now. And now Ghana Education Service. Wow, Dom say it's a compulsory. Say from today, so what radia make sure say teacher nino obechra de e wo kasa akodani team. Really? Teacher for more come on board. More right. Na den baye asemi yedi hunkomo a yakasa say o man bia betum pon a egina kasa bia ni pado do wote. ya ka broni di jaye or kon wo kire ye de wono ye ya obet or ye bete na obete ye yase nti na ye ka broni kasa nye bibia ntia broni kasa ye de aso ye kan na ye de no enye bibia ntia said ye be ya broni ye bo wakro bete ase enu nti na ekuro bi kuro broni nti ase no ho ankasa wato din tu duro kuma se yakra rodo akuro bu efe no nkoko broni atwere te efe no nkawkaw said ye be ya obete ase sanete hwinim se wo ka broni kasa nkyere se the measurement of intelligence se eno na ma hunu nyansa ba ekwaya na broni obete yase na ye kasa obete ene se breti broni yire no ho wiase fa na ba bia wo de ne kasa pushi ya ne obi aka brofo yate modernized language and I say abe general language around the world fantastic but nyansam sa wo pese onana nusua de no mti ase yi a wo bedwene ho sabroni atra de na wusua no ne kasa no wo koso na ate ase a eza wo kyerɛkyerɛm e wo kasa akoda ne tie iti ebe mana te wasemo na wo hunade kura wo pa kyerɛ.
So the Ghana Education Service just made a game-changing reform. Let me explain. You see, the Minister of Education, Haruna Iddrisu, just announced from now on, teachers across all basic schools must use the mother tongue or local dialect of the child as a language of instruction. Now, let me make you understand this better. You see, this isn't just a minor reform. It's mandatory. He directed the Education Service to strictly enforce the policy. Now, here's why this matters. You see, when children learn in language they speak at home, comprehension improves, engagement increases, and they don't feel like an outsider in their own classroom. The minister made a point that a child learns best in a familiar language. Well, believe it or not, but that's absolutely true. You see, studies across Africa, including Ghana, have shown pupils taught in their first language perform far better in reading, writing, and problem solving. Now, this is the same logic behind UNESCO's support for mother tongue education worldwide. Now, here's where it gets complicated. You see, Ghana has over 80 local languages. So imagine a classroom in Accra with children from 5 different ethnic backgrounds. Now, the question is, which language do you use? Now, that's a real challenge teachers are already talking about. Another concern is resources. Most of our textbooks and teaching guides are written in English. So if this policy is to work, the government will have to translate materials, train teachers, and maybe even redesign the curriculum to fit each local context. Now, the truth is, if done right, this reform could be revolutionary. It could preserve our language, boost literacy, and make education feel more Ghanaian, not just a colonial leftover. So now my question is, can Ghana Education Service pull this off nationwide, or will it end up as another policy on paper?
Mr. President, the Director General of GES is here. You have emphasized that we should shift focus to basic education and to improve learning outcomes at the basic level. Mr. President, the story is told of a young girl whose teacher somewhere in the Ashanti region went in and was waxing English, teaching at that early stages of development. Then the child told the teacher that, so Mr. President, in line with that and with your authority, I'm directing the Director General of the Ghana Education Service and the GES that from today, teacher use of mother tongue instruction is now compulsory in all Ghanaian schools. The GES is to ensure strict enforcement of this. That child, that Ghanaian child, was not born into an English family, but a proud Asante Akan family, and deserves to learn. This is part of President Mohammed's research agenda. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we are discussing higher education, and for President Mahama, he wants to expand access to quality, relevant education. Let me acknowledge Kofi Asare, one of those who draw our attention every other time to some of the crookedness of the policies we may be pursuing.
If we truly say we want to decolonize Africa, then let's stop pretending, because freedom doesn't begin with guns or flags. It begins with language. Ghana has taken a bold and beautiful step. Okay, the Educational Minister Haruna Iddrisu says from now on schools will teach in our local languages. Put your hands together for him. And he said not just English. And honestly, I feel this is very deep. Okay, because if we want to free Africa, we must start by freeing the African mind. You see, when we were kids, okay, they used to punish us for speaking our own mother tongue. Some of us were made to actually kneel or wear language tags just because we spoke in Twi, Ewe, Gan, or Dagbani. And that is how far the colonial mentality went. They made us believe our own voice was wrong. But look around now. Africans are talking again, social media has become our new classroom. We are teaching ourselves, we are questioning the system, and finding pride in who we are. And I'll tell you something. What is happening in Burkina Faso under Captain Ibrahim Traoré is awakening the whole continent up. His courage is shaking the chains of our minds. And you can see other African leaders slowly starting to rise, to think, and to act for their people. That is why we must keep supporting and defending Ibrahim Traoré, because he's no longer just one man. He's a symbol of African hope. And Ghana's decision to make local languages the heart of our education is proof that Africa is slowly healing. So I'll ask you this. How can we say we are free if our children still learn to think like the colonizers? How can we love Africa if we are ashamed to speak like Africans? And if we truly want independence, shouldn't it start with how we think, teach, and raise the next generation? Let me know your answer in the comment section. Gradually, Africa is waking up. This is our time. So let's support this move. Let's defend our identity, and let's keep the fire burning. We are still in charge.
Have you ever wondered how things would have been if everything we learnt in school was taught in our local or native language as Africans? Like, for example, mathematics being taught in the Akan or the Gan language, or maybe science being taught in the Ewe or the Hausa language, or Igbo or Yoruba, according to where you come from. Would school have been better this way? Now, when you go to the Asian continent, China, for example, anything they learn at school, mostly at the basic or secondary level, are in their native language or in their local language. When you get to the higher level, that is when they blend the English with whatever you learn.
You get it?
Even though they study English at school, it is mostly taught as a language, but not their primary way of communication at school. So maybe you speak Mandarin at home. You come to school and they are teaching you in the same language. It makes it very easy for you to understand. No wonder these people are considered very smart at school.
I'm telling you.
In Ghana here, when you go to the marketplace, the market women, most of them have never been to school. It's either they have been to school or drop out, or maybe they've never been to school before. But you realize when you go there and you buy something and you give them money, they are able to change it for you within a split second.
You get it?
That you have been to school, you need a calculator before you can get the right answer. They are able to measure rice, gari, and other things like sugar perfectly without any machine. All they need is Olunka Baku, Olunka Mienu. They have given this thing some local name. That makes it easy for them to understand.
You don't know.
So it tells you that language also plays a very important role. Now, this video is from the 1960s, where this British woman was teaching some Ghanaian kids. They asked her a particular question about African kids and European kids. Listen to the answer she gave.
Mrs. McAdam, what exactly are you trying to find out about these children?
I think quite a lot. They've got far more vitality than the average child. They're beginning to verbalize their thoughts. They're beginning to rush out and collect things and show interests that other African children seldom do.
Are they roughly the equivalent of European children?
In what sort of way?
Well, I mean, is an African baby as intelligent and as mature as a European baby?
Physically, he seems to be more mature, and he seems, on some of the social tests, to outstrip the European child. So that it'll be interesting to see how long that advance goes on and when it deteriorates, but we haven't found that out yet.
I don't mean to be offensive here, but why is it that Ashantis in Ghana think that everybody living in Ghana should understand the language? Why? You see, I live in Tamale, even though I grew up in Accra, but I now live in Tamale. So I called a school in Kumasi to make some inquiries. When the person picked the phone, the person started speaking Twi. I said, hello, please, I don't understand Twi. The lady was like, why? Are you not in Ghana? Are you in Burkina Faso? I was like, I'm a Ghanaian, I live in Ghana, but I don't understand Twi. She saw that as a problem. Why would a Ghanaian not understand Twi? Why would you be surprised that a Ghanaian don't understand Twi? Do you understand Dagbani? Do you understand Frafra? Do you understand Ewe? There are several languages in Ghana. Yes, your language is the most populous, but it doesn't mean everybody must understand it. We don't speak it here in Tamale. Upper East, they don't speak it over there. Upper West, they don't speak it over there. Northeast, they don't speak it over there. So, Volta region, I don't think. So, why are you surprised that a Ghanaian don't understand Twi? When I told her I don't understand Twi, her question was, you don't understand Twi or you can't speak Twi? I was like, I don't understand Twi, meaning I can't speak it as well. She was like, how would you be in Ghana and not be able to speak Twi or understand Twi? Thank God I have patience. Otherwise, I would have exploded on the phone, because tell me why you think everybody in Ghana should understand Twi. How? Apart from Cree and English, what other language do you understand? Probably no other language. But I speak 3 languages, 3 included.
They say the world kept quiet or is keeping quiet over the massacre of Christians in Nigeria. Really? Is the world truly keeping quiet, or did the world truly keep quiet over the massacre of Christians in Nigeria? Because I do not understand, or I have never heard that in a world where there are genuine Christians, that they would keep quiet over the massacre of genuine Christians in a part of the world. I don't think so. But the question we do not truly ask ourselves is whether there are genuine Christians in Nigeria. You see, this is the problem we truly do not seek to admit to ourselves. You see, when a society is known for a particular nature of bad reputation in any country or nation that they go to, their religious or moral standard or point of view begins to deplete in the eyes of people. Tell me on a question, give me an answer, how the world truly gazes or how the world truly looks at Nigerians as to whether these people are Christians. Have Nigerians been able to prove beyond every reasonable doubt that they are genuine Christians around the world? Nigerians are known for all criminal activities around the world. In the whole of Africa, in Ghana, in South Africa, in Botswana, in Kenya, in Cameroon, in the UK, outside Africa, in the Europe, in Asia, Nigerians are known for criminality. When it's a question of oppressing Nigerians, they begin to claim to be Christians, and they expect the world to suddenly re-emerge and fight their wars for them. The wars that they instigated by themselves. Are we sure this is a massacre or the condemnation of God upon our lives? Are we sure this is a massacre or the judgment of God upon the lives of Nigerians? Is this truly a massacre? Is this truly a persecution? Or the nature that Nigerians have stipulated for themselves? Is it a massacre or persecution, or indeed a reaction or the consequence or karma playing out on us? The world is laughing at us, not in the sense of mockery, but in the sense that we had forgotten God, and now the condemnation that follows those who reject God is coming upon us. And there we begin to blame the world and tag them to have abandoned and had forsaken Nigerians. What are Nigerians known for all around the world? Are they genuine Christians in Nigeria? Why haven't we shown that we are Christians all around the world? Why are we truly not represented as people that show peace, that show uprightness, that people that show integrity, prestige, honor around the world? We are rather known for criminality, and now we're claiming that the world had kept quiet. Word is enough for a wise. Remember that when you do your activities, when you purport your activities because you want to acquire so much for yourself, remember what goes at disadvantage. Remember what you're losing. For when a man gains the whole world and loses his soul, let him not blame anybody for the loss of his soul. Thank you.
All right, guys. Based on what we've seen, evidencing the information, made by the Minister of Education, and in reaction from other patriotic Ghanaians who have heard their, thoughts, opinion, and postulations based on what it is, I see that some people on this hand are like, it's a welcome development, while some people on the other hand, as Ghanaians, are like, there are other things that needs to be focused on, the infrastructure, increase the quality of education, making sure that teachers and everyone, students are in order, everything is being run as supposed of a country. Because I, for one, I do know and understand that Ghanaians and Ghana as a country don't take education for granted for a joke. I've always said this times without number, even right from the time of Dr. Sadio Fukwame Nkrumah, right? It has always been a thing. If you remember vividly, when I did the school series between Ghana and Nigeria senior high schools, universities, colleges, and the rest of them, you could tell for one that Ghana education, infrastructure, everything, curriculum beats that of Nigeria hands down. When you hear hands down in terms of infrastructure, in terms of learning and everything. Now, let me remind us that. Now, let me address that first lady first before I delve deeper. Who actually wants all Ghanaians to be speaking English? You see, that is the problem we have as Nigerians today. That you see an average child in Nigeria cannot speak their language, except for some cultures as, the Igbos, Yorubas. You get, maybe somehow Benin. But for the vast majority of other tribes who did not grow up in their villages, like where they come from, their place of birth, of origin, right, can literally not speak their dialect. It's even worse for those that are in, the diaspora, but that's exempted because they're in another man's country. English is superseding. But tell me, or make this make sense, that you are in your country, you're an African, you have a dialect that you were born into, you were born with, and you cannot express yourself in your dialect. I know the problem we have as countries, cultures, diverse language, so many languages that are really complicating. And when you want to liken it to the recent development in Ghana, teaching the students, all children as Ghanaians, to learn the language. I don't know if this is applicable to, foreigners who are also schooling in Ghana as well, right? If this is also applicable, it's even an advantage for a non-Ghanaian to even learn the language, which so many people would love to. Now, look at it. The Francophone countries, the French-speaking countries have always been known and noted for speaking their French language anywhere and everywhere. If you cannot understand it, you get an interpreter. These are in West Africa. This is happening in West Africa. The Anglophones, like the English countries, have really sold this part of our language culture in us, that at the end of the day, you find it difficult, like I was saying in Nigeria, for people to speak their own local dialect, which is a very big taboo, a very bad one at that. Most parents are born into speaking English, teach their children English, and when you go out there to the larger part of the world, the culture is dead, the language is dead. They ask you where you're from. You say you're from Nigeria. What part of Nigeria? You're from Ghana. What part of Ghana? Speak your language, all the basic, words in your language. You cannot. Then we say we are Africans. How? Look at the Francophone countries, completely sold out into French, speaking French. And I believe that French was not their first language before the colonizers came to colonize them. The colonizers came to colonize them and taught them French. Is French their language in Africa? Is French anybody's language in Africa? This is a Western language, for crying out loud. But today it has taken dominant of their culture as French-speaking countries. English is wailing and eating us deep. Then we say we are Africans, we have our indigenous culture. Look at South Africans. They have different languages, but you see them, most of them, even in the comment section on social media, speak and type with their language. But in Nigeria, where I come from, my country, you hardly see Nigerians even speaking their language. On national television, everything English. Look at it from Ghana. On national television, everything Ghanaian language, which is how it is supposed to be. I so love Ghanaians when I see them on their channel. That's why I bring out most of these videos here, as content creators, as TV stations, using their local dialect. It gives me so much joy. It gives me goosebumps because there's something unique. There's something spectacular about that language, or the language in general, right? And it's an identity that automatically presents you in your true culture and roots. Exactly. So if the Ministry of Education is saying all students must be taught the Ghana language, it's, for me, a good one, alongside other things that the government needs to also focus on, which is left for you Ghanaians, as I've seen, to address and handle it. But looking at it as Africans, we need to start rethinking on how to embrace our true language, our culture, right? Because that is what we are supposed to be representing. You see me anywhere I go, even though I have an English name, that's my traditional name, my tribal name. I cannot trade it for anything whatsoever. My language, I can't trade it. It's just that I know that the reason why most of us interact with English language is the lingua franca, the common language you can understand. But it's high time. Imagine when I'll be speaking Twi to a Ghanaian, I'll be speaking Ewe, I'll be speaking Ga, I'll be speaking Ga language and all these other language as a Nigerian to a Ghanaian. And a Ghanaian is speaking, their own language to me. That is the diversity of culture and tradition and the beauty behind it all. Right? It's not about, because at the end of the day, we are colonized by the, Western British Europeans. We have to be speaking French and English and all these languages that are originally their language. But anyways, what do I know? For me, I know alongside all we have seen here, it's high time we begin to embrace our culture. I can't go to Ghana and expect a Ghanaian, right, speaking English to me. Why? When we go to China and all these French-speaking countries outside Africa, is it not their language they use in communicating with us? Now it is left for you and on your shoulder, your responsibility to find an interpreter to understand it. If you don't understand, you forget about it. You don't go there. Why is it that you don't go there to tell them, please change your language? I don't understand. If you don't understand it, for freaking crying out loud, that is their language and you are in their country. If you don't want to come there because of the language barrier, you stay in your country or get you an interpreter. Best result, social media, Google can translate. Get a translator and translate. I see no reason why somebody as matured as that first lady will just come out here and be blabbing. I see no reason why Ghanaians will be speaking their language. For crying out loud, that is their beautiful, amazing culture and tradition spoken in their own language. And you, no matter where you're from, have no right to tell these people in their own country what to do. Is it because we are all Africans that we don't have respect? We don't have boundaries. We don't respect culture and tradition. So what the Minister of Education and the government of Ghana has put out there is a welcome development to teach every child, both the ones that are yet unborn and the ones that are already on ground, to learn, embrace their culture, their true language, their mother tongue, in all sense of it. And that is the beauty of we as Africans, us as Africans. Exactly. I can go on and on, just pardon me, it's all over, but I needed to bring this here, give my own take and input. It's so pathetic that I still struggle with my own language because my parents are victim of what I'm saying. They taught us mostly in English language. I cannot fluently speak my language or other languages, which I'm struggling hard. But I know that as an ardent, attentive listener, learner, I learn fast and I'm already on it, even trying to learn other languages, but my own should come first. That's what I'm trying to say. Let your language come first before any other. There's no harm in speaking or understanding each other's language. Accept it the way it is. My love and passion for Ghana is also driving me to learn the language too, if possible, the Twi. So what do you think? I know you have, an opinion definitely on this. What do you think? Constructively and respectfully, leave them all in the comments. If you like it on here, like this video for my sake, share and stay subscribed, and I will see you in my next one. Ciao, ciao.